Hey there, friends. It's Nancy from Catholic Sprouts. Today we're going to be talking about a very important topic. We are going to be talking about the 3 keys to teaching our children the faith. Now, if you are here, you probably agree with me that as Catholic parents, transferring our faith and instilling a love for that faith and the truth of that faith to our children is one of our most important jobs as Catholic parents. However, we are imperfect, and many of us, myself included, were imperfectly formed. So how are we supposed to do this? It can feel completely overwhelming. And let me tell you, we are all still working on doing this. Even though I'm here talking to you, I am still very much a work in progress. But I want to take some of that weight off of your mind today. And I want to give you the 3 keys, the 3 fundamental things that will allow you to teach them the faith. And those three keys are this: prayer, number 1, trust, number 2, and number 3, we need to try. Now, before we dig into those, I should introduce myself. I'm Nancy, the voice behind Catholic Sprouts. I am the mother of 4 young children, with number 5 joining the party very soon. I am very much engaged in this work, and it is a passion of mine to support other Catholic parents as they too work to transfer the faith to their children. As I mentioned, the 3 keys to teaching our children the faith are pray, trust, try. I'm going to make a video on each of these and really break down what I mean by that. What does it mean to base the education of your children on prayer, trust, and trying? So don't worry, look for those videos. They're coming soon. But before we get there, I feel like I probably have some convincing to do. Now, here's how I know I do. Because I'm a Catholic parent too. And when I started teaching my children the faith, I went about this in completely the wrong way. I felt like I shouldn't have to start with trusting and trying and praying, that I should start with studying, right? I should pick up the catechism and memorize it, or I should find some really great materials or find some really great crafts on Pinterest. And I did those things, and we had marginal success, but it wasn't very successful. In fact, it led to a lot of frustration because teaching children, especially young children, and especially your own children, is frustrating. And it's very frustrating when you're teaching them something as important as the Catholic faith, something that you are so desperate for them to know and love. So why don't we start with studying when we plan to teach? Well, fundamentally, we need to believe that if our children embrace the faith, if they really are instilled with the gift of faithfulness from God, that is a gift from Him. Not from us, from Him. Therefore, we need to start with God. Also, we're not going to teach our children anything if we don't have a beautiful and rich faith life ourselves. If we aren't practicing daily prayer, if we aren't practicing entrusting our own life into God's hands, then all of this education is really just busy work. And we don't want that. We want meaningful conversations. We want fruitful growth. We don't just want to be checking out boxes and going through worksheets. And finally, we need to remember that a family, as JP2 said, is a school of love. A family is intended to be a place where we love, where we know each other, and where learning is sort of an organic thing. I remember some of the best lessons that I learned from my parents took place at the dinner table. There was no lesson plan. There was no even thought beforehand about what we would talk about. But by them talking about the Catholic faith, sharing their experiences, or even just spontaneously telling the life of a saint, those are the things that stuck with me. a lot more than worksheets or any sort of written lesson plan. So that is what we want for our family. Now, I know another objection that a lot of Catholic parents have is they feel inadequate to teach their children the faith. Maybe they weren't raised Catholic, or maybe you're like me and you were raised Catholic, but the diocese that you grew up in was very progressive, or you didn't go to a Catholic school, or you had amazing formation, but you didn't remember any of it and you weren't really paying attention. These are all super common problems. They're all things that we all did as kids. None of us had perfect formation. And we all realize that in a profound way when we go to teach our own children. Well, it is a good and beautiful thing to study the faith on your own. I highly encourage you to pick up a book on the Catholic Church or Catholic saints or Catholic moral life. Read it, love it, and it will probably come up and help you teach your children. But the reason why we don't start with studying when we try to teach our children is because in a family, it can be the most beautiful thing to learn together. To learn together. Read a book about the saints with your children. I invite you to listen to the daily podcast, Catholic Sprouts, which is intended for children, but listen to it with your children and then discuss, what did you learn? What did they learn? What surprised both of you? Learn together. As a former teacher and as a parent, I can tell you that children are not they don't doubt you when you tell them, oh, I didn't know that. Oh, we learned that together. They love that. They love that you are learning with them. You don't need to be an expert. You don't need to be this repository of all the knowledge in the world. We all know that those type of people don't make the greatest teachers. The teachers that really have an impact on their students, the parents that are really going to have an impact on their children, are those that are willing to learn with them. And so, friends, I know I've just dipped our toe into all of this, but really the 3 keys to teaching your children the Catholic faith are having a personal prayer life, trusting God recklessly, and trying. Now look for a video on each of these 3 topics very soon. I will break it down and hopefully really inspire you to be the parent that your children need. Until then, I really encourage you to join me in the small but humble work of doing small things with great love, which is exactly what parenting is. I'll see you soon.